morning, everyone. Our topic for today's presentation is Employment Equity Act, Canadian Values in a Workplace. My group members are me, Dinesh Bansal, Deep Patel, and Jasmanbir Singh. The overview for today's presentation is that it provides the details and explanation about Employment Equity Act and the rights that are valued by Canadians in a workplace. So let's start with the purpose of Employment Equity Act and what is Employment Equity Act. It helps ensures that all the Canadians have the same access to the labor market. The act also ensures that employers take actions to ensure the full representation of members of 4 designated groups within their organization. The 4 designated groups are women, Aboriginal people, people with disabilities, members of visible minorities. So this act requires employers to investigate, identify, and take concrete action to correct the condition of disadvantage in employment for these 4 designated groups. Who does the act apply to? So any organization or business that is regulated by the federal government or with at least 100 employees has a legal obligation to comply with the Employment Equity Act. What does the act mean for an employer? It is the employer's responsibility to develop and implement an employment equity program in consultation and collaboration with the employee representatives. Federally regulated employers are required to analyze their workforce and review their employment systems in order to develop an employment equity plan. So the first value here is gender equality. What actually is gender equality? So the gender equality in the workplace is the idea that all employers, no matter their gender, have the same access to rewards, opportunities, and resources. This would include equal pay and benefits for the same role with similar duties, equal opportunity for promotion and career advancement, equal consideration of needs. Here are some benefits of the gender equality. The first one is positive company culture. So a gender equal work environment where all employees feel respected and valued creatures. It creates an overall more positive workplace for all of your employees. When you have a gender diverse environment, your employees will likely notice that their co-workers have talents and strengths they don't possess themselves. The appreciation for these differences will help promote an environment of respect among the team. So the next benefit is more innovation and creativity. People of different genders bring unique talents, strengths, and skills into the workplace, which can improve collaboration and result in a stimulating and creative environment. In fact, companies often find that a greater diversity can lead to greater innovation within the workplace, which is very true. The third benefit is good reputation or building a great reputation. By being international about promoting gender equality in the workplace, you will foster a great company reputation with the outside world. People who have similar values will want to work for you, and with the happy employees you will have a positive and productive workforce. The fourth benefit is improved conflict resolution. Strong communication skills among employees is essential for company-wide success. People of different genders naturally communicate differently, with some preferring to communicate problems directly and others are peacemakers. When you combine these different communication styles in one work environment, you can more easily achieve conflict resolution. So now I would like to hand over to my group member Deep Patel for the further explanation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinesh. Hello, guys. My name is Deep, and I'll be talking about gender equality supporting laws in Canada and explaining about the other values which is related to privacy at workplace. So, in Canada, gender equality falls under the human rights legislation. Human Rights Act of 1977 protects Canadians from gender discrimination at workplace. This act states that all Canadians have the right to equality, equal opportunity, fair treatment, and an environment free of discrimination on the basis of sex, sexual orientation, marital status, and family status. Now I'll be explaining about the second value that Canadians value at the workplace. And it is more about privacy related to personal information. Canadians have rights to protect their personal information, and this personal information includes social insurance number, home address, salary, medical information, banking information, etc. In Canada, there is a legislation that protects workers' personal information from getting disclosed. So, according to this act, the information can only be disclosed with the consent of employee. However, an employer may need to collect personal information in order to manage the employment relationship for many reasons. Some of them are as follows. They need it to provide payroll and benefit plans to employee. So the information such as SIN number or some of the banking information is necessary for the employer to give their employee a payroll and some of the benefit plans they have decided. It helps employer to prevent theft or vandalism. Some of the information might help to investigate workplace harassment complaints. To comply with the employment standards, law requirements, they need personal information. So it helps employers to protect trade secret and other proprietary information about the business. It also helps employer to reduce risk of copyright infringement or defamation by employees through email or internet use. Employer might need some information to perform drug testing on individuals in safety sensitive positions, discipline cases or insurance matters. So there are some positions in specific companies that requires the position holder to do drug testing. So for this particular reason, employer may need employees' medical information. Personal data is needed to investigate workplace accidents and injury claims. Abide by human rights and laws. Employer might need some information to perform drug testing on individuals in safety sensitive positions, discipline cases or insurance matters. So there are some positions in specific companies that requires the position holder to do drug testing. So for this particular reason, employer may need employees' medical information. Personal data is needed to investigate workplace accidents and injury claims. Abide by human rights laws that may require employers to collect workplace statistics, prevent harassment or discrimination, and stop the dissemination of hateful or obscene materials at workplace. So at the end, personal information can only be disclosed with the consent of employee and employee only. So from now on, my team member Jasmine will take over. Thank you.
Hi guys, it's Jasmine Singh here. I'm going to continue what my partner has discussed from here, from slide number 8, which started with a question that say, can you see what personal information your employer has about you? And the answer is yes, you should, because you have to modify. If you have to modify or do changes in that, you should be able to assess that easily. Moreover, to ensure its accuracy, that every word, every letter is good and everything is correct, you need to have that information assessed. And assess requests should be made by an employee in writing to your employer, which is also cited in the slide. Here the picture also depict very in a very good way that how privacy at work is important and you have to know your rights. Let's move to next slide. It says right for foreign workers. So basically, foreign worker includes four types of people who are out of Canadian land. Those people includes immigrants, students, people on work visa, and people who are PR. So the basic rights that includes are to be paid for what you work. It's like most important thing because you cannot get paid more or less than what you work. Obviously, no one's gonna pay you more, but it's about less. You cannot get less paid, or you can file a complaint about that. Number two, have a safe workplace. Have a safe workplace. Every equipment is good, and there is no risk of your life is very important. Moreover, to participate in keeping your workplace safe and healthy too, you cannot have any racism or some sort of that. Everyone is equal. We should treat everyone equally. Number three, keep the passport or work permit with yourself. Do not give it to anyone. The context is also cited over here, and the picture discuss clearly how basic rights are important. Over to next slide. This is the most important slide over here. What your employer cannot do to you. Number one, he cannot force you to perform duties that were not written when you were hiring a job. For example, if you are in a restaurant to cook, then you cannot. Then the employer cannot let you do the stuff of other people like the waiter or other stuff. Number two, force you to work if you are when you are sick or injured. For example, if you have a broken knee, you cannot come to work. He cannot force you to come to work and participate in the several activity, but he is over there. Number three, take your passport or work permit away from you. You cannot give him the passport or work permit. That is like the basic need. That is why you are here. You cannot have your passport or work permit, and moreover, you are just working for him. He don't own you. So that is the basic thing you need to learn. And number four, the last, have you deported from Canada? No employer can deport you from Canada. That authority is just through government of Canada, and the employer cannot decide if you were to leave or have in Canada. Okay, the cited are also listed over here. In the conclusion, I just want to say that all people are equal in the workplace despite of their gender. Racism should be avoided over there. It's 2022, and I don't think that anybody would be like this, that no one is treated equally. And number two, privacy is of most important in workplace and is highly valued, as everyone is so concerned about their private lives, they don't want to mess that up. And number three, nobody can force employees to do anything other than they were hired for. The government of Canada has strictly putting action over that, and they have the minimum age wage is also there, that every student can work for $15 at least. And that's it for today, guys. Hope you were able to learn something, and thank you very much.